Good morning, Lockdown Workshop, Sunday morning. It's the morning after the Christmas cycling do for Manvers. If you know, I do a bit of sports as well, and it was our social evening last night, and I feel absolutely rough as a dog this morning. The amazing thing about that is I was drinking zeros all last night because I was the designated driver, so I have no idea why my head hurts like it does this morning. I can speculate, but I can guarantee no alcohol past my mouth. Maybe I've just got a headache for headache overload, head overload. Right. Anyway, we're in the middle of the workshop, woodworking stuff, but we have got. What have we got? Let's stand you further back so you can see it in its full glory. Is that? Can you see that? Yes, you can. Right, it is a 29er wheel, possibly a Shimano. It says MTB ST130 on it, whatever that is. It's off a On-One 29er. So it's the Planet X four-wheel drive. Oh, it's a WTB. It says there, WTB ST130. No idea, never come across them before. Let me show you what the problem is. There's a few problems, and I can only show one of you in a minute when I've got it in, but this is the main problem. Right, listen to this side. Nice ring, maybe an odd little loose one. This side, dull as anything. And there's some. That's a really bad one. I mean, that one I can. It's not even got any. I can actually push it down in the rim. Yeah. So it is what it is. So direction of travel on this would be that way. When you put the brakes on, it holds it, and the wheel's trying to go that way, so it pulls on any of the spokes that are going that way. So these that are on that side of the hub, so any that go to that side of it are going to get stretched, because that's when you apply the brake, the wheel's trying to go forwards, that's trying to hold it, so all these spokes here are going to get stretched. So these are going to be tighter, which they are. These are going to be really loose. That's tight, loose, tight, loose, tight. Not too bad. Loose-ish, tight, really loose. Not too bad, that one. Really loose. So you get the drift. It's stretching the spokes. Personally, I think for the grip on the tyres and the bike it's on, because these are sold as a mid-range mountain bikes, they're fairly high-end parts on it. You know, it's got a decent group set on. I think they've got a set of rock shocks, medium to higher medium forks on as well. They're quite an aggressive frame, so I do wonder why Planet X chose these wheels, because these spokes don't seem anywhere near big enough. I mean, if you look at the 26er I've got, my spokes are thicker than that. So I think this is what I would call a cross-country trail wheel that they've stuck on a mountain bike that, for all intents and purposes, is sold for a bit more aggressive riding. It's a bigger frame as well, so it's the large or extra large frame it's on. So the height and weight of the riders is going to be significantly more, and it's just I can fix it, but I'm expecting that I will have to do it again, and it will get to the point where the spokes get metal fatigue and fail and start exploding. I've had this on a wheel before. There's a specialised FSR, the one that's kind of a cheaper version of the stump jumper that came out at the time, and had the specialised axle rims on, and they were awful. and every time I went down a hill, not off, you know, massively off-road hill, just a cross-country hill, and applied the brakes, I'd lose 2 spokes. So I ended up upgrading all the spokes on that, and it was I'll be honest, it was a right old faff. So the other challenge I've got is that most of the older turbos, which is what I use for my, I use an old turbo for my frame to do the truing up, are actually quite, for the older bikes. So these 29s, which are equivalent to a 700C, I think, in rim radius, and then obviously you've got a bit more tyre on it. They just ain't gonna fit. So we're gonna have to get the tyre off this first. So first job, let's get the tyre off. Sorry about the noise. How are you doing for wide angle? I'm on a new camera today. Well, it's not a new camera, it's an old new camera. I use the Insta360 for most of the stuff in here, especially when it's mucky stuff, but it has its limitations, so I was trying to mess about and try and get some better quality footage. Oh, this flipping tyre's glued into the rim, isn't it? I don't think it's, no, it's not. It is tubed anyway. That's a plus. The inner tube's stuck to the inside of the tyre, so every time I let go of the tyre, it's sucking the air back in again. Let me just see if I can break this bead. It's not having it. Come on, let go. I'll have to get a bit more aggressive with this. That's the wrong way around, is it the wrong way around? No, it doesn't really matter. Tyre levers. It's flipping freezing in here today as well. I thought I had a set of tyre levers in here. Got these awful things. Now normally I'd say you should be able to get your tyre off without a set of tyre levers, but this is one of the instances where you've got no chance, because I don't know if you can, let me bring you back down. I'll zoom you in. We'll see how good the autofocus is on this now, because I had one of these before. It's a Canon DLSR, so it's the EOS. I had a 500D or no, it was a 500D, but the 500D didn't have a microphone socket, which ironically I'm not using a microphone now because I couldn't be arsed. I just want to see what the sound quality was like. I might switch to the microphone in a bit, and then I can do a compare and contrast, and you can put your feedback in. Anyway, I sold that one and bought another one off eBay. So this is a 700D. It's a later model. The autofocus is a bit better. It's a bit more geared up for video. So we'll see how we go. But more importantly, it has actually got an external mic connector on. And it was kind of the last one before they started getting into all the Wi-Fi stuff, I think. I might have got that wrong. I don't really care, to be honest. It was at the price I wanted to pay. Right, I don't recommend this at home, kids, but I'm going to have to get a screwdriver out just to break it off the rim. Because it is well and truly glued. I think that's enough. You might have broken that out now. Just push it the rest of the way. That's it, we're off the rim now. Yay. I suspect these might be rims that are doable. Come on, get off that. If I can break it off the bead, that's a bit worrying. The rim tape is actually not centred, and I can see we've got yeah, no, I'm using spoons, and I say you shouldn't need them. I think we're going to have some fun and games with this one. These aren't the best tyre levers in the world either. Some I think there were some freebies that Planet X were giving away to Sporty. There we go. We're off. Right. Let's see if we can get some more air out of this. There is sawdust everywhere, which is why I didn't really want to be doing this, but I was getting some grief because I've not done it yet. So we might end up with a bit of sawdust in this. Put that out of the way. Let's see if I can show you what I've just spotted. See, it's glued on this side too. There we go. See if we can get it off. We should be able to pull it off, he says. Will not be awkward. There we go. So you don't need spoons. Right. So that's unusual as well. It's not a folding rim. Oh, it's not too bad. When I was taking the tyre off, that had slid to one side. I'm a little bit concerned about this because Planet X do have a habit of putting rim tape on that's not up to the pressures that you run your tyres at. Now these are fairly low pressure tyres because they're so big. You'd be running about 55, 60 because they're not tubeless, and you can see it's pushed in there already. And eventually you'll get effectively a pinch flat on those, and we've had loads of these. But I'll take it back. I won't slag Planet X off because this is actually the rim tape that came with the wheels. But I might need to keep an eye on that. I had a road bike tyre that I had 3 punctures on consecutive rides, and when it was always on the underside of the inner tube, and that's exactly what it had done. It pushed through there, and then the inner tube was just rubbing backwards and forwards on the edge until it wore a hole in it. But anyway, we should be able to get that in there here. That should fit now. Yes, loads of room. Right, just need to get you pointing down still. Right, so that should fit now. All I need to do is just get my some adapters on there, so I'll just bring you back in a minute when we've right. So this is a little gadge I bought a while back because I kept getting people coming down with through axle bikes that wanted bike fits, and I do the bike fits by putting them in a turbo trainer, and most of the turbo trainers I've got and most of the turbo trainers you buy today are geared up for QRs, quick release skewers. So this looks like a 12, so that wouldn't go in that side because that would be the wrong side to put that in. What's up, love?
I'm good.
Right. Okay.
The quicker I get off, the quicker I get back.
What are you?
And then I've got 2 other jobs to do. And then I could do a call at the mother's home at some point. But you're going out swimming, aren't you?
Yes.
I don't think George has booked on life saving yet.
Right. Okay.
Right, I'll see you
Yeah.
in a bit.
Right. Just go and badger bothering. Right, I'm just looking for one that fits in there now, which I think is not that one. That's not that one either. That's irritating. Right. So I thought I got one to fit every size of this, but it would appear not. That's definitely the thicker of the two. Doesn't really matter because we're going to clamp it in place, but it's something to bear in mind if we end up doing another one of these, unless Mick's lost a pin out at the end of that. I might have something here actually. See, I've got that you can use, but that's more for putting them in a truing up stand than putting them, because that won't fit in there at all. At all. No. I don't think it will anyway. Let's try it. So these are just a set of cones that you use for putting, so you can put these wheels in a truing up frame. I don't think it's going to be long enough. Oh, it might be long enough. I might get away with this. I might use this instead then. Right. So that's gone in. Let's just see if we can. Just rest it at the bottom. All we need is for it to. Notice a big chunk missing off that. I don't think that's going to go any further. That's wound all the way back now. Oh, there we go. We're in. Oh my god. Oh, this was going to make me earn me money. Right, are we focused? It says it's got a little bit of a wobble in it. Right, so the first thing to do is work out where the wobble is. So, see if I can just keep you somewhere near. So, right, so that's massively gone over there. Oh, it's quite loose. So what we've got to do is try and work out where centre is. And normally you'd say if we've got loose spokes, it's gone too far over. What I'm seeing is see they're quite. Oh, that's okay. That's they were quite tight. So they're quite tight. Right, that there. Quite tight. We back. Right, got a bit of an interruption then, but then I've had a little bit of a think about how I'm going to do this. So I need something just to catch on the edge of the rim so that I can hear it when it's. I normally just hold a tool there, but this is so far out I need to be able to get some more fine adjustment on this. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hopefully tie wrap this here and see if that works. I'll show you what this is actually before we tie wrap it on. So all I've got is I've just got an old engine bolt out of an old Kawasaki I had. I've put a thing on it, and then there's a wing nut, and then I've just got a piece of plastic collet there that will just graze against the rim. And if I need something more accurate, I look like putting a pointy bit on the end of that. But the main idea is it's just easy to adjust it in and out. So we'll just fasten this on with a few tie wraps. I ought to just make a proper frame for this, and maybe extend the arms so I don't have to take the tyres off, because I'm not going to use this as a turbo again. It's well past that, so I could just convert it to a truing up frame anyway, and actually weld an arm on down here with something like this, so it's fastened in place permanently, but I can adjust it up or down depending on the wheel size on both sides. So normally you have them down there and it's like a hook, and then you could wind it a U-shaped piece, and then you have two pins on either side that you set it to the height of the rim, and then that also allows you to put one in that way as well to track any up and down movement. So that's already needs adjusting. So I can just wind that in and out, and we'll see how we go with that. Let me just tighten these up a bit more. That's it. Actually works quite well. Quite impressed with that. You have a quick look at that. It's a little bit Heath Robinson, but it's you can now see how far out this wheel is. So that's moving, I'd say about 1/4 of an inch. That's quite excessive. If I can get something down to half an inch, half a mil, I'm normally happy with that, with one that's been trued up. So we'll see how we go with that. It is a bit loose. That I'd rather had something a little bit tighter, but that's all we've got, unfortunately. Unless I can use that, we might have to use that in a bit. We'll see where we go with that. Before I lose them though, let's put all these back on here. See, I wonder if this is a 15mm through axle. Right, so spokes on that side seem reasonably tight. The spokes on this side are really loose, which is a bit worrying because that's at its pulled most across. But they're a lot looser. Oh, they're really loose as well. So that's at its furthest across, so I'd expect these to be really loose, and they're, well, that one's quite loose. That's the bit I can't get my head round. I would have because the loose spokes are on this side, you would have expected it to be over here on the loose side, but I mean they are loose, but some of the ones up there are much more loose, so I'm not entirely sure with that. So I think the best thing we can do is just pick off the really loose ones and just get them so they're tight again, and then start from there. What size spokes are these? That's it. So I'm just trying to get them somewhere near. They're not going to be perfect. So you can hear they're both consistent. These aren't though. That's quite a bit lower. I'm just slacken that one off a bit. I think that's just spinning. That's a good same sound. That's quite loose. Oh, that's way too high. I'm wondering whether somebody's made an attempt to do this already. Which would explain why it seems like it was. Yep. So what we're trying to do is just making sure that if we're tightening up one side, we're not over tensioning the spoke on the opposite side. So I'm just doing this by ear at the moment. So it's like tuning a guitar. See, let's tighten this one up now. Good enough. That's a really wobbly one. I won't even ring that one. This is all exciting stuff. This is top quality content, this. It's actually starting to ring now. It was so loose it wouldn't even ring. Too tight. Well, I think we've got all the loose spokes out now, so all we've got to do is just decide where we're going to centre it from. So that's quite a long way out. So we've got from, do some bits of sticky tape on here. This is where having some kind of a chalk pen would be nice, just to draw on the rims. I haven't done this one this far out for a long time. Right. So it starts moving at about there. It's at its high spot about there. And then it's at its low spot. It starts moving about there. One of my pieces just fallen off already. Yep. That didn't last long, did it? Right, so let's try some maths here. So that's frame to edge is to the edge of the, so the frame would be 4.2 away. So the frame is... Right, let me bring you back. I need to do some... Right, let's just show you what I've done. So I've measured from a datum on this side. I don't know if you can see my finger, but can you see my finger? Let's zoom you back in. No, let's move you back a bit. Oh, ducks. Right, so I've measured from a datum on the hip of that, because that's level with this bar all the way down there, to where the axle touches the frame on the bike. And then I've done the same on this side and then measured in. So that's the frame at the back of there. And that gives me 147. So that's yeah, that gives me the right frame gap that we should have. So all I've done then is divided it by 2 to give me the centre, so that the centre of the wheel's tracking in the centre of the frame. And what I can see is it is as I suspected, that the buckle is going that way, even though the loose spokes were on the side that was on this side. So I'm really not entirely sure how he's done this, but we'll give it a go and try and get it back again. This is not going to be an easy one, so I'm going to use this as a reference point for this. Might have to do it there. And as you can see, it's still not quite in the centre of the wheel, even when it's at its furthest point over there. But a lot of wheels are slightly displaced, so we'll go with it's this side that's correct and this side that's out. So what we'll do is we'll just wind this in a bit, and we'll start to try and take it out bit by bit. Right. So all I'm doing now is just winding this in to the point where it touches and where it comes off. So I know which spokes I need to adjust. So I need to slacken off these two and tighten up those three. So we'll slacken these off first. So give them a good quarter turn. Quarter turn's quite aggressive, so we'll turn that in quarter of a turn. We'll wind that one in quarter of a turn, and we'll wind that one in quarter of a turn, and then we do the same again. So you can see it's not touching now. So then we do the same again. We wind it out until it grabs. That's actually taking it quite a long way across already. And what I'm doing as well is I'm just keeping an eye on this as well, because the more we do this, we could actually pull the rim out of line. Right, so that's where we're centred this time. So what we'll do is we'll pull these two in and release these three. These do actually feel a little bit loose already. Right, so quarter turn again, quarter turn again, quarter turn off, quarter turn off, quarter turn off. So the same again now, just wind it out. So quarter turn off, quarter turn off, quarter turn off, quarter turn on, quarter turn on, and it's starting to come back. Too aggressive with that one that time. Right, it's quite a long range on this one. So I'm just going to turn the outer one slightly less. That was quite loose anyway, that one. We're nearly there now. We're getting there. That's a massive difference compared to where it was. So the reason we keep resetting it every time is because what you'll start to get is, because of the way the spokes are laced, you'll start to get secondary buckles appearing in other places because of the way the spokes are at different angles. So you just keep attacking the high spots. There's a high spot there, so we'll wind that one across. Slacking them off a bit. Slacking them off a bit. Turn that one up a bit more. That one in a bit more. That one in a bit more. Release that one. Right, so tweak that one down, tweak that one up a little bit, tweak that one down, tweak this one up a little bit because this is quite a long one. Down, up, down, up. Right, so we've got a definite little hump there, so we'll just take them up. Starting to get there. Right, so again with that one. That's quite loose already, that one. That's quite tight. So small adjustments now. Nearly there. Let's bring you around this side so you can see where the magic's happening. want you to focus on that. That's it. No! Manual focus. Switch to manual. Yay, I think we've got it this time. Manual focus. Right. So compared to where it was, we've now got about 2 mil of travel, whereas we did have about 8-9 mil of travel. So we've just got to get that last bit out. So this area around this sticker does seem to be a constant. So we're just doing very small adjustments now. So that's immediately moved the area over to there. So these two just want a little bit of a snug up. We've got quite a long right runner again here. So I'm just going to give these all a little tweak. So I'll just put that one back off again because it was actually quite loose already, which means we can probably need to look to take those up. Let's see, that's moved now. Right, we've got about 1 mil of travel now. So we'll just tweak it up. We're really into fine adjustments now. So very small turns. I think we're very close. Do you know what? I'll take that. I didn't think I was going to be able to save this, but I think we've done all right with that one. It's got a little bit of up and down, but that's not too bad. Let's just not hearing any dead spokes. Yeah, really pleased with that. So all I'm doing is just playing the should have done a before and after. Quite pleased with that. Happy days. That is possibly the worst wheel I've ever had to true. Yeah, it's got a little bit of an updy-downy on it, but there's not a lot I can do about that one. I'm quite pleased with that in the end. Given how it is, I'm starting to wonder whether it was a combination of the spokes stretching and then it's had a hard impact as well, and it has slightly egged the rim, and that's why I couldn't explain why some spokes were loose that I'd expected to be tight and vice versa. So I will take that as a win. Let's just do a video. There you go. Possibly the worst buckled wheel I have ever seen is now pretty much trued up. If we were quite pleased with that. Your reference point on it. There you go. Job's a good one. Let's hope we don't get too many like that again. We'll take that. Right, so running out of battery. Let's quickly wrap up then. Hope that's been useful to somebody. Sorry it was a bit long-winded in times. This is probably the worst wheel I've ever had to true up. That's one way of doing it. There's many other ways of doing it, and people will argue that I've probably over-tensioned the wheel in places, but it is what it is. You can hear that's just running beaut now. There is a bit of an egg in it. I suspect the wheels had a bit of a bang as well. It's as good as you can get. It's a mountain bike. I was more concerned about loose spokes. We've got nice tight spokes again. The wheel's tracking nice and evenly. But I suspect what we're looking at in the long run is maybe it might need the wheel replacing, because it's definitely a little bit eggy. Anyway, right, like and subscribe. Hope that's been useful. Lockdown workshop. Boom, jobs are good.